After a day off yesterday, the Brewers are back at work, back at play tonight. Tuesday night baseball here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The tailgating is epic as always. Those brats are looking tight tonight. Cardinals Brewers ready for game one of this three-game series. The Cubs have a 2.5-game lead over the Brew Crew right now in the NL Central, and then the Cardinals in third place, 4.5 back of the first place Cubs. Cubs taking 2 out of 3 over the weekend here at Miller Park. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us here tonight. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Jerry Augustine in just a moment. Well, the trade deadline has come and gone, and while the Brewers didn't make that big splash, they did make a couple of interesting moves. One of them really was a surprise as Jeremy Jeffress back for the third time in the Brewers organization, partner.
He's had a lot of success here in Milwaukee. Last year before the deadline, 27 saves. They gave a youngster down in the minor leagues. They picked him up, Taylor Scott, in the independent league. So Jeremy Jeffress, his third stint with Milwaukee, another power arm down there. And Anthony Swarzak, another guy that they picked up right before the deadline from the White Sox, another guy that can close some games if need be. He's got the big fastball, the slider. He's had a lot of success in the major leagues and having certainly his best season. And Jeremy Jeffress, another big power arm. You know, the Brewers bullpen, for the most part, the body has been pretty steady, but the back end of the bullpen has been kind of like, you know, in flux. But with these two guys in the bullpen, I think it stabilizes everything. You get two big arms with success, and it's going to be nice to see these guys in action. Of course, Jeremy Jeffress not here. He'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, be activated tomorrow. The Brewers will need to make another move. Now, Swarzak will be a free agent at season's end, but as we bring in Jerry Augustine now, Jeremy Jeffress still under control for 2 more years. What do you expect out of Jeremy Jeffress in his third time around there, Augie?
Well, you got to look back to 2014 when he came over to Brewers. He really reconciled himself. First year came back, had 1.88 ERA. 2015, he won 5 games, was 5-0. Then in 2016, he really turned it around. 27 out of 28 opportunities he got saved, got great command of his fastball, got his breaking ball over the plate, which was a big pitch for him. And I tell you what, when he found out he was traded, he said, coming home is great. This is where I need to be. And BA and Rock, if he does go to those 2016 ability form to where he was, there is going to be no place like home for Jeremy Jeffress.
Yeah, no question. He's certainly comfortable pitching here, has a good setup in Milwaukee. Glad to be coming home. All right, we'll take a look at the pitching matchup. Carlos Martinez and Jimmy Nelson, they are on the bump tonight. Game 1, Brewers Cardinals. We'll take a look at that when we continue from Miller Park. Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. By Hupy and Abraham, voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Having a little catch outside Miller Park, and look who's back in Milwaukee, KEON Broxton. Back with the big league club. He has been in Colorado Springs. He's been raking in Colorado Springs. As a matter of fact, played in 7 games, had 10 hits, 7 RBIs down there. His first game in the big leagues since July 21st. And this is our pitching matchup. Carlos Martinez in his Brewer colored hair. He'll match up against Jimmy Nelson. Power pitchers on display here tonight for game 1 of this 3-game series. We're ready to play ball tonight in Milwaukee. It's a beautiful night for a ball game. We're glad you're with us. Lineups and the first pitch coming your way next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Jimmy Nelson strikes him out, and a called strike 3. Nelson delivers, and a swing and a miss. He chased one, and it's another strikeout for Jimmy Nelson. Jimmy Nelson Day here at Miller Park. The big right-hander from Niceville, Florida, is on the mound for the Brew Crew tonight. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spectacular night for baseball once again. We've had a great stretch of weather. Cardinals are now in town after the Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. Potawatomi batting order for Mike Matheny has Matt Carpenter leading off, then Tommy Pham. Paul DeJong will bat 3rd. He's been a big surprise for the Redbirds. In the middle goes Jerko, Molina, and Piscotty. Wong, Grichuk, and Martinez round out the starting 9 that will match up against Jimmy Nelson. Rock looking for win number 1 against St. Louis.
Yeah, he's winless in 10 starts against St. Louis. They've hit him around pretty good, but this is the new and improved Jimmy Nelson this time.
First pitch of the ball game, right down the heart, a strike, and away we go.
Yeah, early, this was in April. He faced the Cardinals here at Miller Park, took a loss, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs.
Well, Nelson has emerged as the Brewers ace, especially with Chase Anderson out. Anderson is on his way back. That is a good news health story on the Brewers starter, and the Brewers are trying to hang in there right now to get their pieces back together. They've made some acquisitions with their bullpen, as we pointed out at the trade deadline. And Anderson on the comeback trail. We could see him within a couple of weeks. So then you put Chase Anderson in there with Jimmy Nelson, and you're talking about a couple of guys that might not grab a lot of the national headlines, but are certainly pitching as aces of teams right now.
Yeah, well, and the starting pitching's been pretty good for the Brewers. You know, the reason why they're struggling right now is not because of the starting pitching. They've been pretty good. Brewers need to score a few more runs.
Now the offense has really struggled, winning the Friday night game against Chicago 2-1, and then lost Saturday and Sunday, and not a whole lot of offense to speak of for the Brewers. Brewers come in with a record of 3 games over here at their home ballpark, 29-26. Carpenter sends one high in the air, deep right field. That'll stay playable. Domingo Santana makes a catch, and that's how the night begins for Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. You got Braun Santana left and right. KEON Broxton's back in the big leagues. He was sent down for a little over a week. Shaw Arce on the left, Sogard Thames on the right, and Manny PINA behind home plate.
Well, welcome back, KEON Broxton. Well, you got to love a guy who takes the disappointment of being sent down to AAA and has the kind of success that made him an easy selection to come back to the big leagues. Tommy Pham sends one into foul territory, and Thames is there. He runs into a fan, and it pops in and out of the glove of Eric Thames.
Every man for himself in there. Reached into the seats. Thames dealing with it in pretty good fashion. He would have had it had the fan get out of the way, but who does that, right? He didn't know that Thames was there.
And so the at-bat stays alive. That reminds me to tell you about a news story.
Yeah.
That the Chicago Cubs gave Steve Bartman a World Series ring yesterday.
I saw that, yeah.
You knew where I was headed with that.
Absolutely.
So maybe in a decade or so, the Brewers will give this nice man a World Series ring as well. They'd hope they'd have a World Series ring to give.
Yeah, right.
It's understandable. Can't knock fans for going after the ball there.
Right.
And I will say that Eric Thames handled it a lot better than Moises Alou did.
Right, and the crowd here in Miller Park handled a lot better than what the fans are. Of course, the stakes are a little bit higher. You know, in the Cubs situation in the playoffs.
1-2 to Tommy Pham. Swinging a foul right off the mask of Pina. He's taken a few shots here lately off the mask. He's starting to get a little bit concerned on the shots to the head that he is taking here. This one really stunned him, Rock.
Yeah, right on the left side of the face.
Oh,
yeah, and see the way it kind of hits and goes to the side. Those are the ones you know that really get you good. Not glancing blows, a direct shot.
Another 1-2 pitch. And Pham, did he go? Yes, he did. It's a strikeout. So that fan down the first base line actually helped Jimmy Nelson get the strikeout.
Yeah, strikeouts are up for Jimmy. Walks are down. Yeah, since the end of April to the end of July, 21 walks, 120 strikeouts for Jimmy Nelson. That's all you really need to know about why he's been so successful lately.
Quieted down those mechanics. Jerry Augustine is with us tonight in the dugout. He's given us a field's eye view. We'll get into his mechanical brain at some point tonight. He's keeping a close eye on Jimmy Nelson tonight and Carlos Martinez. Here is Paul DeJong batting third, playing shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals. And you might not recognize the name if you're not tracking the Cardinals every day, but this guy has been one of the more impressive players in Major League Baseball. Since June 15th, he's hit 13 home runs. And if you need a comparison context, only Giancarlo Stanton has more. in the major leagues. Stanton has 16 during that stretch, so we're going back to June 15th. And there's DeJong, who's hit 13. He's got 14 overall. Kid out of Normal, Illinois, played his college ball at Illinois State. A swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Nothing like getting off to a good start, right? That's kind of the way it has been for DeJong.
Cardinals have had a lot of great shortstops. They've had a lot of great hitters. They have had very few shortstops hit third in their lineup. Got to go back to the Red Schoendienst era.
Wow.
To find the last shortstop to hit third in a premier position. Paul DeJong, 287 average, 14 home runs, 32 driven in, just over 200 plate appearances.
And he's been a nice shot in the arm because the Cardinals, you know, for the year have not really scored a lot of runs. They're 11th in the National League in runs scored. Not hitting home runs.
On the ground, that is foul. And the count will stay at a ball and 2 strikes. Cardinals a game under 500, 52 and 53. 4.5 back of the Cubs. Those are the numbers for Mike Matheny, who has been under a little bit of fire here recently. It's been a number of comments, tweets, social media replies. Cardinal fans have had plenty to talk about with the Matheny-led Redbirds in the last few days, specifically from a couple of social media releases by Yadier Molina.
Right.
The Cardinals general manager John Mozeliak also issued a bit of a controversial or newsworthy quote when he said that the culture and the attitude needs to maybe be shaken up a little bit. And if you're managing a ball club, you never want to hear something like that from your GM.
Yeah, that's never good from the general manager. That means something's coming down the pike. Whatever that might be. Of course, you hate to see that from players.
3-2 the count on DeJong. And he lines one to short, right to Arcia, and that will retire the side. Jimmy Nelson is off and running. 3 up, 3 down inning. Here we go to the home first with the Brewers coming up. Park. Cardinals go in order in the top of the first. Now the Brew Crew coming up. Craig Counsell putting the lineup together and hoping that his offense can get going here tonight. Potawatomi batting order looks like this tonight with Eric Sogard leading off. Eric Thames hitting second, then Ryan Braun. In the middle goes Shaw, Santana, and Pina, with Broxton back from AAA. He'll start in center. Arcia batting eighth, and then Nelson rounding out the starting 9. That will match up against Carlos Martinez.
He's had a lot of success against Milwaukee. He's making his 11th start, 22nd appearance overall against Milwaukee. A 175 earned run average, a 5-2 record. Hey, he won a game his last time out against the Rockies, but they hit him a little bit. 6 innings and five runs.
First pitch up and away gets Martinez night started. He'll face Sogard, Thames, and Braun in this first inning. If anybody gets on, Travis Shaw in the cleanup spot. Now the Brewers 0 for 31 with runners in scoring position. We talked about the struggles offensively. That has set a new franchise record. And so at some point you're hoping for a correction, and the Brewers, who had a 5.5 game lead at the All-Star break, now behind 2.5 to the Cubs. This would be go time for them with a road trip looming after 3 more games with the Cardinals.
Well, it has been a season that they really haven't done all that well with runners in scoring position, but they've been hitting a lot of home runs. That has kind of dried up as well.
Still a confident bunch, but this is a very young team and an inexperienced team, maybe more appropriately put, as Sogard draws a walk. Scampers to first, and a good way to start the night for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, let's check out the Menards Cardinals defense. Grichuk, Pham, and Piscotty in the outfield. Piscotty just off the disabled list. You got Jerko and DeJong on the left side. A lot of errors on the right side. Wong with 8, Carpenter with 10. That's a lot for a first baseman, and the Gold Glover Yadier Molina behind home plate.
All-star catcher again, Yadier Molina. Here's Eric Thames facing Martinez. With that fastball in the mid-90s to start this game does Martinez. Thames with 24 home runs. He and Travis Shaw lead the club in long balls this year. Thames with 45 driven in, mostly hitting second throughout the season. And there's a strike at 96. He has ratcheted it up.
Yeah, good fastball. He's got a cutter, a sinker, 4-seamer, very good changeup, and he'll throw a slider. Occasional curveball. He throws everything.
22nd start of the year for Martinez. This will be career start number 90 for him, as he deals a ball to Thames. This one at 97. 2-1 to count on Eric.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted that for a strike. Looked like it had the plate.
Martinez is just outside the top 10 in ERA in the National League. He's 11th, 3.52 earned run average, 7th in the league in strikeouts. Thames pulls it firmly inside the bag, hits the sidewall. Sogard on his way to third, Thames on his way to second, and he is in there. A double for Eric Thames. Second and third, nobody out to start the game offensively for the Crew.
Now this is exactly the way you want to start the game. Walk double, and now the run producer is coming up. Change up from Carlos Martinez. You're going to see a lot of those. That one up in the zone a little bit. Thames doing a real good job keeping it fair. Sogard cruises into third.
Thames all smiles. Hitting his first at bat. Brewers are set up in this first inning with Ryan Braun coming up. And Braun, a big swing and a miss. That fastball for Martinez. He's one of those pitchers that brings no hit stuff to the ballpark every time he pitches, which means he has the ability to get out of jams like this because he's got that swing and miss repertoire. Braun has 5 hits off Martinez lifetime. He's a .238 hitter against him career. Ground ball to second base. That'll get a run in. Brewers are on the board. Ryan Braun with an RBI.
There you go. Run in. He moves Thames to third base. So if you don't get a hit, that's the best case scenario. Get him in, get him over. Now Shaw's up with a man at third and less than 2 outs. A productive out for Ryan Braun.
There you see the home plate umpire, Chad Whitson. He's joined by Vic Carapazza, Tom Hallion, who is the crew chief, and Mark Ripperger, 4-man umpiring crew in place, assigned by the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, by way of Joe Torre and others. And we had Rob Manfred here in the ballpark today. Good to see the Commissioner.
He actually addressed the Brewers front office, taking questions.
He was kind enough to sit down with us before the game today. We're going to have that interview for you on Brewers Live tomorrow. We'll give you some highlights of some of the things we discussed during our broadcast today. Big weekend here in Milwaukee with the Cubs here and sellout crowds, and of course the Hall of Fame ceremony at Cooperstown, inducting 5, including Bud Selig, former owner and Commissioner Emeritus. So all kind of coming back together here for the Brewers on this homestand.
Man, nice speech by Bud yesterday.
Travis Shaw trying to deliver a base hit with a runner in scoring position. Infield in. And Shaw pulls one foul, a hot one over there in Jerry Augustine territory.
Yeah. Actually, that speech was Sunday. My mistake. Don't tweet me. I knew it was Sunday.
Monday off.
I forgot about yesterday.
How was your off day, partner?
Unbelievable. Great weather.
1-2 the count. And Shaw strikes out for the second out of the inning. First strikeout for Martinez. By the way, tonight our game is on AFN, the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 170 countries and naval ships at sea. And we welcome all of those watching tonight, wherever you are. Thank you for your service. Hope we can bring a little bit of home to you. One guy we are very happy that is not having to watch this game on AFN is Bill Schroeder's son Billy, who's back from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Great to see him over the weekend.
Yeah, got back a couple of weeks ago, and he and his fiancee Elizabeth here visiting Milwaukee.
Watching on good old Fox Sports Wisconsin.
That's right, at the house.
Thinking about all of you out there serving our country, and all of those families as well watching tonight who may have loved ones serving our country as well. Glad we could bring this game to you. Santana in a 3-0 count, hitting 5th in the lineup tonight. Santana is coming off a very good month of July. 24 games he played. He hit .333 with 5 homers and 16 driven in. Up the middle, and it's through for a base hit. A run is in.
Well, that's a shot in the arm for the Brewers right there. And Travis Shaw strikes out. It took a base hit, and Domingo Santana has come up big in those spots a lot. Rolling this one into center field. And that broke that string of 0 for 33 with runners in scoring position. Brewers have that monkey off their back. Actually, that was a gorilla.
As a wise old TV analyst once said, the skunk is out of the box.
Yes, it is.
Whatever that means. The skunk is out.
It's a fishing term.
Ah.
You should know that. You caught a fish yesterday.
I am a big fisherman. You're right.
What was that?
I caught my one fish for the year. Got my quota.
So
I didn't want to.
There you go.
I didn't want to empty out the lake.
Skunks out of the box for you now.
Here's Manny Pina. Takes a ball down and away. Should have seen it. Took 2 hands to hold this thing up for the photograph.
Yeah.
2-hander.
You know what kind it was?
Yeah, big one with a big one, like shiny.
Had fins on it?
Oh yeah, fins, scales, everything. Teeth. Could have been a piranha, I think.
Yeah, musky.
Electric eel.
I don't know if piranhas are indigenous to Wisconsin, but
They're not in the local lakes here in Wisconsin.
I don't think so.
I think it might have been a shark. I did ask the skipper if this was one we'd like to keep and maybe fry up for later. He goes, not unless you want to starve.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it wasn't quite to size.
Unless you catch 40 more. Proud of you, though. You went fishing.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's good. Pina fouls one back off Molina's mask. Well, Manny Pina emerging as the starting catcher, even though Jet Bandy still sharing time. Pina's been out there 3 out of 5 days through a pass through the rotation. Manny caught 2 out of the 3 games in the Cubs series. And a fastball right by him. 2-2 the count on the Brewer catcher.
Yeah, the fastball for Martina is anywhere between 92 and 99. Depends on where he is in the game, the situation. When he has his back against the wall, he will rear back and give you upper 90s.
2-2 the count. Pina sends one to center field. That's way back. And this is going to bounce off the wall. Coming around third is Santana. And he'll score. Manny Pina with an RBI double. And it's 3-0 Milwaukee.
That fastball right down the middle. And Manny Pina just continues to swing a good bat. Very consistent. One hops the wall. Santana scores from first. So the Brewers with a couple of 2-out base hits to score runs. Good to see that. Get this offense going again. And no chance for Pham. Brewers caught a break, didn't bounce over the fence. And Santana scores run number 3 in the first inning.
Hernan Perez enjoying that one. Good to see the Brewers up on the top step and to see some runs come across the board in this first inning. Pina just continues to hurt the Cardinals. It's his 9th hit this year against St. Louis.
And he's been one of the best Brewers hitters with runners in scoring position. Well over 350.
So he is at second. Darnell Coles happy with the start of this one. And one of his big projects has returned. KEON Broxton back in the big leagues. First game since July 21st. And Broxton going down to AAA whenever he felt like he needed to work on. It appears based on the results that he fixed it quickly.
Yeah, he just needed a reset. I talked to him during batting practice. He said, I just need to catch my breath, take a deep breath, and start figuring out how to put the ball in play.
He's had a great year against St. Louis this year, including 3 home runs. One of the longer home runs of the season as well. Although I think the home run he hit in St. Louis, which at the time they had at 493, they've recalibrated and dropped it, because at one point it was the longest home run ever hit at New Busch. And that is not the case any longer. But it's still a long home run. There's a curveball in there for a strike, and down goes Broxton to end the inning. Well, the Brewers needed to see some success, and they get it quickly. Santana breaks that 0-for-33 streak. Pina follows. 3 runs into the first inning, and the Brew crew on top early against the Redbirds.
inning, the Brewers with a 3-0 lead. And hey, be at the ballpark Sunday, August 13th to see the Brewers take on the Reds. Plus, get your hands on a one-of-a-kind Bob Uecker 8-ball given to all fans courtesy of 620 WTMJ. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
Well, us kids enjoying a little Tuesday night at the ballpark. Brewers off to a great start. Jimmy Nelson staked to a 3-0 lead as he starts his second inning. Jet Jerko leads off for the Cardinals. Takes strike one. Brewers will play 3 against St. Louis. It'll conclude on Thursday afternoon. Day game Thursday. First place Cubs are back at it tonight as well. They had an off day yesterday as well. They are at home at Wrigley against the Arizona Diamondbacks, one of the 2 wild card teams right now. That game will be underway momentarily. John Lester on the mound for the Cubs tonight, and the Diamondbacks have Patrick Corbin. Swing and a miss, and Jerko strikes out. Jimmy Nelson with his second punch out.
Hey, you saw him get ahead of Jerko with a 2-seam fastball. Then once he gets to 2 strikes, we've seen a lot of this year. Fastballs out of the strike zone. This doesn't work when you're behind in the count. But when Jimmy works ahead, this is the pitch that he's been getting a lot of strikeouts. That fastball out of the zone.
Last start coming against the Nationals, had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. Despite a loss for the Brewers, no decision for Nelson. Big swing by Molina to start the at-bat. Yadier Molina with 10 homers this year. Been elevated into the lineup. 5th position here tonight. Very uncharacteristic week for Yadier Molina, who has been pretty vocal on social media. His Instagram account was one incident last week. Matheny was asked about Molina and maybe needing a day off or getting tired at this stage of his career. That was in a post-game press conference setting, and Molina heard that or got wind of it somehow and immediately responded on social media to say that he prepares himself to play 174 games, regular season plus playoffs, and he'll let, essentially paraphrasing here, he'll let somebody know when he needs a day off. And that created a lot of conversation in St. Louis. Arcia will make the play.
Not sure why that's necessary. I mean, it's the manager's job to decide when a guy needs to sit, even when you're Yadier Molina.
It's always been understood from our end, and you know, who knows the way it's going right now, but Molina and Mike Matheny once were players at the same time. Matheny leaving St. Louis, which opened the door for Yadier Molina. They've been very close, but just very uncharacteristic of a Cardinal player, and then for Yadier Molina to speak out publicly as well. But who knows? It's been a down year for St. Louis, but
I think if anybody would know when a catcher needs a day off, would it probably be Mike Matheny. He was the guy that caught every day, whether he was hurt or not. It's not a it's not picking on a guy, and it's not a rip on a guy. It's just, hey, I mean, he catches a lot and he's getting a little bit older.
Stephen Piscotty at the plate with 2 outs. He's just activated off the disabled list today. He's been out for a couple of weeks, a little over 2 weeks, with a groin injury. Now, I think what was unusual about it was the public version of it. I'm sure over all these years, Molina and whoever his manager may be, La Russa or Mike Matheny, they've had plenty of conversations behind closed doors, which is the way everybody would like to keep it, I'm sure, in their camp. That's why it was so surprising that it was a public statement.
Especially with the Cardinals, right? I mean, they've always been really close to the vest.
Sure.
And very secretive about everything. Kept everything behind closed doors, but yeah, you're right. That is a little bit uncharacteristic.
So that's the scene really for St. Louis as they come to town for this series with the Brewers. They are searching and very quiet for the trade deadline as well. Fly ball to right. Piscotty to Santana, one right fielder to another, and the inning is over. Jimmy Nelson has retired 6 in a row. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. 3-0. Brewers lead the Cardinals, a 3-run first inning. Manny PINA with an RBI double with 2 outs. Brewers had 2 hits that produced runs with 2 outs in the first. And now back at it in inning number 2. RC on the first pitch, ranging over. Carpenter hits Martinez, covering the bag for out number 1. Good play by Matt Carpenter.
Hey, good job by Martinez to get off the mound quickly. And watch Carpenter, the way he gets the baseball to Martinez as quickly as he can. Get the baseball, catch it, then look for the bag. That's why you want to get it to him quickly. It's amazing that Carpenter's got 10 errors at first base.
Right. I'm with you.
We're in Washington, and Zimmerman's got 11. You can understand that. He's got throwing issues, but yeah, Matt Carpenter's a really good defender.
1 gone for Jimmy Nelson. Ninth place hitter for the Brewers, batting with 1 out in the second inning. That means you're having some success. Brewers brought 7 men to the plate in the first, scored 3 runs on 3 hits and a walk. RBIs from Braun, Santana, and Pina. Nelson has 4 hits this season, driven in a couple of runs, a late swing, and a strikeout for Martinez, his 3rd. 2 outs. This guy's only 25 years of age and one of the better arms still in the major leagues. Did it at a very young age. His numbers against Milwaukee are stellar. 1.75 career ERA. However, he took a loss against the Brewers in April. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, and all 5 runs came on the home run ball. Travis Shaw and Eric Thames delivering the 5 runs. Shaw hit a 3-run shot, and Thames hit a 2-run homer.
Sometimes his concentration can be a bit shoddy. But when he steps on that mound, he wants to pitch. There's not too many better.
Hits the outside corner on Sogard. 1-1 the count.
This is his 5th season in St. Louis. I mentioned he's only 25.
Yeah, 90 career starts and still a very young man. Still has a very bright future. He's having a good year. Not a good start tonight, but overall, it's been a good season for Martinez.
And last year, Martinez 16-9, a 304 earned run average. The year before, earned run average of 301.
Two-time All-Star. Was an All-Star this year. Made it back in 2015 as well. 1-2 the count. Sogard takes a ball. Sogard trying to get his bat going again. Just 2 hits in his last 21 at-bats. He drew a walk in the first inning. Hit 100 right there. So in the first inning, Martinez is throwing 93, 94, pumped one up to 97. Just fired a triple-digit fastball with 2 strikes on Sogard.
Yeah, just because.
And comes back with a changeup.
Changeup at 91. It was a changeup that Thames hit. That changeup was 90 miles an hour, and
up and down the scale he goes against Sogard. And that's a call. Strike 3 right on the edge. 1-2-3 inning for Martinez. Couple of strikeouts. 3-0 Brewers.
Cardinals 3-0. You know, we talk so much about Jimmy Nelson and his fastball, the great command he has, and it's really made a big difference with him. But the one thing that it really talks about is command of his breaking ball, and especially tonight, it's been the slider. Being able to command that slider and throw it for strikes ahead in the count has really made a big difference. And not only that, what he does, guys, he's been able to change speeds with it. When you can change speeds, get ahead, use that slider, it's been very effective. And tonight, you look at it, 6 up, 6 first pitch strikes, very important.
you know, Augie, we've been talking about Jimmy all season long about slider curveball back. I mean, that's got to really help your confidence out on the mound. You know, if you don't have your slider one day, you have the other breaking ball to go with it. If you only have one, that puts you in a bind, doesn't it?
It sure does. You know, one thing Jimmy really thought about this past winter is that he wanted to use both of those pitches, and what he did, he's been able to command both of those pitches. As you see, a base hit to right field. He wanted to command both of those pitches, and that's what he's been able to do. That curveball is very important, though. He can change speeds with it, and he can locate it to both sides of the plate.
You know what's interesting about Jimmy Nelson as well, Rocky? He's a guy you can kind of tell where a pitcher is in his evolution when sometimes bad pitches or mislocated pitches are still turning out well for him. Meaning he might hang a pitch here or there, but his stuff is pretty overwhelming right now. And it seems like the hitter is on the defensive more often than not. And that's a sign of a guy who, A, can get by with not making perfect pitches, but also maybe a guy who doesn't have to have his A game to be successful in the big leagues. You're not going to have your A game every day.
Well, Jimmy's got enough on his fastball to be able to get away with, you know, questionable location once in a while, but it's always important when he does get ahead in the count. I know that's an overused comment, get ahead in the count. Of course, everybody does, but when you throw 94 to 96, he'll touch 97 once in a while. You don't have to have pinpoint control, particularly when you're ahead in the count, and you can use the upper part of the strike zone.
Gives up a leadoff single to Colton Wong. Here's Randall Grichuk now. Now, strike one is important, but as you've pointed out often throughout the years, the 1-1 pitch is probably the difference maker for an at-bat. That's the most drastic change in opponent batting average, whether it's a 1-2 count versus a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Yep, who's in charge, right? Who's got the count in their favor?
Fly ball to right. Santana will watch this one into the seats.
Who's going to be on the defensive, the pitcher, or is it going to be the hitter? 2-1 or 1-2?
And we're in that count right now. I think you can go through most major league games, and if you only kept track of the success rate of the 1-1 count for a starting pitcher, or any pitcher for that matter, you'd find a pretty good correlation to results, successful results or not, based on what is happening on that 1-1 count. So we'll see if Nelson can get to that 1-2 count here. Ball and a strike on Grichuk, runner at first. And a swing and a foul, 1-2 now.
It was that two-seam fastball that started on the corner, and then with the late movement ended up way off the inside corner. And Grichuk swung at it anyway.
Ball and 2 strikes on Grichuk. And a shot into left center, base hit. Braun trying to cut it off, cannot. It's going to bounce off the wall. They're going to wind up Wong. He's coming home. Throw to the plate, and the tag, and he is out at the plate. Pina's a little shaken up. There's going to be a question here whether Pina gave Wong an alley to slide to or not. This is going to be a very interesting call.
Well, I think what happened was, if I could be so bold without a replay, I think the throw took him into the area that blocked off home plate. If the throw takes you in there, let's see where he sets up initially and where the throw takes him. First of all, a mistake on a 1-2 pitch from Jimmy Nelson, but watch Pina, watch where he's set up. I'll tell you, that's pretty close. You can see where he is. That's actually a perfect throw. Good job by Pina, but he was set up right in front of home plate. This is going to be an interesting call if they do go to a replay.
As the throw comes in, that's when Pina moves in to catch it. The tag there on the shin, and he had not gotten to the plate. So yeah, Mike Matheny has looked at the replay. That is a very old school baseball collision you just don't see anymore. And Pina, going back to his roots, certainly Mike Matheny used to plant himself in front of home plate often. It's a big play. It's an out at the plate. They will not challenge.
It's a good job by Pina to hold on to that baseball. I can tell you how difficult that is when a runner is coming at you and you catch the ball pretty much at the same time. It all starts with a good throw from Ryan Braun all the way in the air. Good throw by Arcia. And the throw takes him in front of home plate, and they get the out. That is a great play by everybody, including Ryan Braun with that first relay throw.
I'm a little surprised, Rock, they didn't challenge that just to talk about a running lane right there.
I'm telling you, when I initially saw the play, it looked like it was right in front of home plate. But Brewers got away with it.
Cuts down a runner. Great throw on the relay from Arcia. 7 to 6 to 2 on the putout. Puts a runner at third with the pitcher at the plate, Martinez, who can swing the bat a little bit. And Nelson buckles his knees. Strike 1 and 2 to count.
And that's probably why they sent the runner, knowing that the pitcher was coming up. Although you do have Matt Carpenter, the Brewer killer, on deck.
Martinez has 7 hits this season. He's driven in 8 runs this year. That is a high number for a pitcher. Hitting 179. Ooh, almost hit him. Nelson firing another breaking ball.
I'm not sure, but I think Martinez might be thinking I should have let it hit me. It was a breaking pitch. Survival takes over. You get out of the way.
He does stand right on top of home plate.
Right?
Surprising.
He does.
You don't see pitchers stand that close to the dish. Leaning out over home plate. And wow, Martinez with a swing and a miss and a snap.
Wipeout slider that time. It was on the front door. Starts at him again. Martinez sees the break and a very defensive swing. And a snap.
That is, if he doesn't hit the plate, it shatters his bat, but I think the plate may have saved that bat for one more.
Lucky it didn't come up and hit him in the head.
I was thinking the same thing.
The way that
had a little spring effect to it.
Plate could be a little spongy.
That would have been embarrassing. 2 outs now. Top of the order here is Carpenter. And that same breaking ball lands for a strike. Carpenter flew out to right in the first. He actually hit it on the barrel, but he just got under it a little bit. Hit it a mile high.
It's amazing to me this guy's only hitting .250 the way that he hits against Milwaukee.
As they say, who's getting him out?
Right.
Brewers sure haven't through the years. Well, we'll take a 2-year sample size for Matt Carpenter. That's what we're talking about here. 378 batting average, and it's a hard 378. 4 home runs, 16 RBIs in 26 games, 15 doubles.
Yep.
He is a .455 career hitter against Jimmy Nelson as well. Swinging a foul tip right into the mid of Pina. 1-2 the count. Carpenter has 10 hits in 22 career at-bats against Nelson. 2 of those 10 hits are homers. There has to be a psychological part of this for Jimmy Nelson, who is emerging as a real top talent from a starting pitching perspective. Yet the Cardinals are a team he hasn't been able to dominate yet. There's a fastball strike. He caught Carpenter guessing. Got him with a heater. Play at the plate was a big one. Keeps the shutout intact. Braun to Arcia to Pina. Collision at the plate goes the Brewers' way. Rock. This will turn into a good news, bad news scenario. Check this out. Max Scherzer, who pitched to Jim against the Brewers last week, hits a 3-run home run his first career homer, and then did not come back out in the second inning. Neck spasms for Max Scherzer. So while it's all good rounding the bases there in the first inning, or excuse me, in the second inning, did not come back out for the home seconds. Scherzer's out after 1 inning, but he does have a 3-run homer on his record.
He did it swinging bat, I guess.
The report from the Nationals clubhouse says that he did it while sleeping.
Oh, he had it before
Had
he
it
hit the
before
home
he
run.
went in. Had nothing to do with that mighty clout.
Okay.
Take that for whatever. Slept on it funny. Eric Thames leads off against Martinez. I mean, a skeptical fan might say, after hitting a home run, you can't really hit a higher plateau than that if you're Max Scherzer. You might as well not ruin the day. Just come on out of the game.
Not exactly a soft touch on the mound either. Brewers faced him in Washington.
He's having a Cy Young type season. 1-2 to Thames. Missed inside.
Maybe he did it watching the home run.
Could be. Left turn.
Craning the neck, you know, running to first and watching a little bit. Not the craziest injury I've ever heard of.
There's been a few in baseball history, huh?
I had a guy in Anaheim when I was with the Angels. And now
An unnamed player.
I'm not going to say who it was, but he was a pitcher. He was getting ready to get sent down.
Right-handed or left-handed?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
One Chuck Finley, let's put it that way.
That sums it up. Mark Langston.
Yeah, before he
Thames draws a walk.
he knew he was going to get sent down the next day, so you know he came to the ballpark, you know, that day and said he pulled a hamstring. So I had to do. I sat on my wallet when I was sitting on a bar stool that night. So, and yeah, so I don't know.
Is that the official injury report? Hamstring, barstool, wallet?
I don't think
excessive
so.
wallet?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Must have had a lot of money in that wallet.
And he collected a lot more after that on a big league DL.
Right.
There have been rumors of a few players who have tried to iron their clothing while wearing their clothing. That's sent a couple to the disabled list. One player who was accused of that I know fairly well, as do you, and he says that he claims that never happened. He was only using the steam part of it. It technically wasn't ironing.
Right. So you want to blow hot steam on your chest. Okay.
Or elsewhere.
Right.
Braun takes a ball down and away. 1-1 the count on Ryan. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy baseball injuries over the years. Martinez taking a long look at Molina. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thames at first, and Braun out in front. A lazy pop up. And backing up is Wong. He's got it for the first out.
Hey, RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, and the Android. They enjoy fast-paced pick-up-and-play action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, and ballparks, and much, much more. Visit RBIGame.com to learn more.
Here's Travis Shaw with 1 away, runner at first. Shaw was a strikeout victim in the first inning. Shaw hit a 3-run home run back in April off of Martinez. Travis now 3 for 7 against Martinez in his career, including that homer. Hit hard, but right at Wong. Got a chance to turn it into 2. He does. And the Cardinals are out of the inning. 4-6-3 double play. We go to inning number 4. Brewers lead 3-0. Mentioned we had a chance to visit with Rob Manfred. Going to air that interview tomorrow on Brewers Live, but here's a little taste and his thoughts on Milwaukee Brewer baseball. Listen to what he had to say.
I think Milwaukee is a great baseball town. This is a tremendous facility. I think the support in this community for the Brewers has been really, really strong given the size of the metropolitan area. Mark's done a great job since he's owned the club, and you may know David Stearns actually worked with us in the commissioner's office for a while. So we have kind of a soft spot for Milwaukee all the way around.
Well, there you go, Brewer fans. The commissioner has a soft spot for you. Thanks to Commissioner Rob Manfred for spending a little time with us. He is on his tour of Major League ballparks. He'll go to each spot throughout the course of the year, and this is the Milwaukee window coming off the Hall of Fame weekend with the man he replaced, Bud Selig. As a bouncer through for Tommy Pham, a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. Commissioner Manfred addressed the media for a while. He spent 10-15 minutes in there, answered every question that everybody had. He also spent some time with the Brewers front office today and also answering questions. There are a lot of questions that those who work in the industry, of course those who cover the sport as well.
Yeah, he's been very committed, you know, to getting involved in youth baseball. You know, baseball around the country and getting kids involved in baseball and into baseball, getting them out to the ballpark. I like that.
Talked a little bit about the international progress for Major League Baseball and some of the pace of play concerns as well. He's been very upfront about that. Don't forget Brewers Live tomorrow. Brewers Live pregame. We'll have our sit down with Rob Manfred. He spent a good 5 minutes with us and we hit a number of topics. I thought it was interesting. He was talking about owner Mark Atanasio, and now that Mark is a dozen years as an owner in the major leagues with the Brewers, took over the team in '05. He's on a number of important committees. Rob pointed out, the commissioner pointed out, and it's interesting to see an ownership go from a new owner trying to find his way with his own team, and then an owner who now is getting established and starting to have an impact in various other levels and areas of the game. And Mark Atanasio is involved in a number of those projects around Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he likes to get involved in every aspect of it, including getting the team out into the community. Just about every homestand you see some of the players going out doing different things, you know, amongst the fans, and it's been a something that's very important to he and Debbie, and that started right when he bought the ball club.
Nelson in a 1-1 count on Paul DeJong. After a leadoff single by Pham. A 38th round draft pick in 2014. That is rare to see a 38th round draft pick make it to the big leagues, but to make it in a 3-year span, less than 3 years, and hit third in a lineup in the big leagues is borderline shocking. He has quite the story to tell, Paul DeJong. 1-2 pitch. Snap throw to first. Close.
Yeah, you certainly don't get as many opportunities down in that part of the draft as you would in a top 5. Organizations, you know, in their top draft choice give them many opportunities to show what they can do. And as you like to say, he always had the wolf at the door, and he made the most of it. I think he used that to his benefit. Sense of urgency right away.
2-2 the count. That one just missed.
Yeah, that's that low strike. Did you talk to the commissioner about that today?
No, that didn't come up. We should have done that. It would have gone something like this. Commissioner, how do you feel about the low strike not being called? You know where that would have ended up.
Look where it was.
My partner Bill Schroeder says
Yeah.
that's how I would have started that question.
Yeah,
I was thinking about
that's okay. You
that
could
was
have done
next.
that. You could have done that.
That was my next question, but he cut it short after
Carlos
that.
Martinez didn't get one of those pitches today. It was not just the Brewers.
Runner goes, swinging a ground ball. Right there is Sogard, and he'll make the play. The runner on the move sent Sogard into that region. So a runner does advance as DeJong grounds out. 4-3 on the put out.
Is he still here? Maybe you can ask him.
Might be. Maybe you can send him a note. Why don't you check in with Tyler Barnes and ask him if he's available to ask a few
That's all right.
umpiring questions.
Next time. Next time.
Commissioners love umpiring questions. Here's Jed Jerko now. I was going to ask the commissioner after the strike zone question that you had offered in the suggestion box about, you know, press box accommodations
On the road
and
in particular?
bathrooms and right.
Yeah.
All the things that matter to you and me specifically.
We're good here. This is perfect here.
Yeah. Couldn't be better.
There should be altitude maximums in press boxes.
Right. I agree.
Amongst Major League Ball clubs.
Commissioner, would you be in favor of lowering some press boxes? I have a few ballparks in mind. That was going to be next too. We just didn't have time to get into it, Rock.
Yeah. He only had 5 minutes.
Oh, and to the count. Jed Jerko lays off. Tony Petitti is with the commissioner as well. The man who started MLB Network and longtime TV executive, now working for Major League Baseball. Good to see Tony. He made a terrific presentation at our Fox seminar this year back in February, our MLB seminar, and love some of his ideas about taking the game into the next years and decades from a television perspective, because he has been a terrific television executive. He is one of the driving forces, if you don't know the name Tony Petitti, behind the NCAA tournament. Remember the look-arounds, and they go to different games that would be coming down to the wire. It's all different now with every game being televised on a different network, but prior to that at CBS, that was usually Tony Petitti and his crew taking you to all those great games around, great finishes around the NCAA tournament. So he's got a ton of experience. Great voice to have in baseball. Jerko is hanging tough. Nelson struck him out in the second. Jimmy with 4 punch outs.
And pitch count a little high for Jimmy right now. He's approaching 60. Working here in the 4th inning.
Sitting on a 1-2 count with Jed Jerko at the plate. Pitch number 6 coming to Jerko. And he got him. Back to the slider.
That's a nasty slider right there. Best one he's thrown tonight. Good break on it. Late break. Looks like it might have been a strike. Might have been a little off the plate, but Jerko goes after it. A little too close to take. Looks like a fastball until the very end.
Strikeout number 5 for Nelson. And it'll be Yadier Molina with a runner at second. Brewers scored 3 in the first. The crew able to cut down a potential run trying to score last inning on a beautiful relay from Braun to Arcia to Pina. Cut down Colton Wong. Looked like he was going to score easily.
Kind of the rule of thumb for third base coaches, never make the first out at home plate, but I think, as we mentioned at the time, they sent him because the pitcher was coming up. I'm not sure that mattered or not, but that was a break for the Brewers, but very good defense.
Mike Schild, third base coach of the Cardinals. A swing and a miss, and Molina in a 1-2 count now. Molina bounced to short his last time up. With Nelson's right, he'll get a ton of ground balls and strikeouts. Runner at second. 1-2 pitch.
And so far, all 3 at bats with runners in scoring position for the Cardinals have turned into strikeouts. So Jimmy making his pitches when he's needed the most.
Tommy Pham led the inning off with a single. Went to second on a ground out. Jerko struck out. Pham still at second. 1-2 on Molina. Molina's a tough guy to strike out. Knows the strike zone well. He's an interesting hitter. He'll change his approach. Not just at bat to at bat, but even in the middle of a single at bat. You'll see him try to go to right field, and maybe he'll try to pull one. Keeps you guessing up there as a pitcher, and he dumps that one into right field, a base hit. Santana's got a big arm. They're going to send the runner, throw to the plate, and in the score is Pham. RBI single for Yadier Molina, a little jam shot. And the Cardinals are on the board.
Yeah, he was thinking right field the whole way. I mean, that's why you see the Brewers set up defensively pretty much straight away. I mean, they never do that to hardly any hitter, but Molina shoots the ball all over the diamond. You can see not a whole lot of shifting going on with him at the plate. Even with Santana playing shallow and right, really no chance to get Pham.
Molina stays put at first on that throw through. And it's a 2-out RBI single for the all-star catcher. 3-1 ball game now. Brewers lead by a pair. Here's Stephen Piscotty. There's a strike. Activated today from the disabled list. Last game in the big leagues with the Cardinals was July 14th. And a couple of games in the minor leagues for a rehab. Try to see some pitches. This guy was on top of the world 2 years ago. What a great year he had. And then he had a terrific postseason as well. Cardinals and the Cubs 2015 division series. And He looked like he was ready for the prime time. But it can evaporate quickly sometimes.
Teams make adjustments on you. Have a difficult time staying on the field. Injuries start cropping up. And yeah, 2015, great start, and the numbers have gone down since.
He gave the Cardinals something they didn't think they had in the outfield that year in 2015. 2 balls and a strike. Got a runner at first. Molina. Piscotty takes a strike right on the edge. Might have got a break there with that call. 2-2.
Got himself right back into the count.
Broken bat. Oh, took a weird hop. Stays fair. And Piscotty is out. That's the kind of season it's been for him. That thing was well foul. But the spin on it, it dug down in, took a left turn in Albuquerque. Right to Thames, inning over. Night baseball tonight on a Tuesday, and 3-1 our score. Look at this ground ball to end the inning by Piscotty. Looks like it's going foul. Whoop. Left turn.
Yeah.
Fair ball and an out, and Nelson a 25 pitch inning. Glad that did bounce left.
Yep. It's not where it starts or where it finishes, and not where Thames is where the baseball is. And fair ball, easy out.
Cardinals get one on an RBI by Molina. Santana leads off for the Brewers here in the 4th inning. Domingo drove in a run with a base hit, 2-out RBI single in the 1st inning. Snapped an 0 for 33 with runners in scoring position. Dubious streak for the Brewers. Good to get that one by him. That set a franchise record, by the way.
Now you would figure at some point you get lucky, maybe bloop one in with a man in scoring position, but it didn't happen. You know, that and the fact that they weren't hitting a lot of home runs. Yeah, they're now 2nd in the league in homers. The Nationals have passed them.
Well, Domingo Santana hit a big home run on Sunday. Drive into right field, 2-run homer that tied the game. It was his Powerball number 18 of the year. Career high for Santana.
That was a changeup, by the way. That pitch right there. Just missed him.
2-2 the count. Oh, a fastball got him. Down he goes. 99-mile-an-hour heat. Santana, a strikeout victim. Number 5 for Martinez.
Kind of settled in, hadn't he?
3-run first. Nothing since. Brewers have not had a hit since Manny Pina's RBI double in the first. Manny Pina now 9 for 20 this year against the Cardinals. It's been a fun matchup for the Brewer catcher. He's hitting .450 against St. Louis. Overall batting average at .303. Pina's got that OPS over 800 now. A very productive catcher, not to mention all the great work he does behind the plate. Handling a staff, throwing out runners, blocking pitches. Manny has 6 pickoffs. Defensively, that leads the majors. He's picked off 4 runners at second and 2 at first base.
Keeps him close if he doesn't get him out.
That's ball 4. 1-out walk. Well, Jerry Augustine checking the mechanics of our starting pitchers tonight. What do you have on Carlos Martinez, Augie?
Well, he really has a real simple windup or delivery to the plate. He's very good. A lot of little movements to the plate, a good balance point and everything. But the one thing we noticed about Carlos Martinez, back in April we faced him here, and his ability to command the strike zone early in counts. And that first game we got to him, he got 5 hits, 5 runs on 7 hits through 5 innings. Next time out in St. Louis, changed it, got ahead of hitters, and he was able to go 7+ innings with just 4 hits and 1 run. So when you talk about that 1-1 count, getting ahead of hitters or getting behind, both of these pitchers, you get behind, their batting averages on the opponents are about over 300. You get ahead in the count, and the averages are down in that 160 area. So getting ahead is important, especially in that 1-1 count.
All right, Augie, thanks. Good stuff right there. And
even when you throw in the upper 90s, it's important. It doesn't matter. I mean, you fall behind big league hitters. I don't care if you're throwing 100 consistently. They're going to make good contact. They look fastball, get fastball. They're going to be able to turn on it.
It's always amazing how many 1-1 counts you get in a game as well. Happens all the time. We got one right here with Broxton. Runner at first, 1 out. KEON just back from AAA. And he takes a ball down and away. 2-1.
Now he's in charge. Now he can be selective. He doesn't have to hit Martinez's pitch here. If he doesn't like it, he can let it go. He's still got another one. Not the case with a 1-2 count.
Broxton on the ground, foul. 2-2. Nice pickup over there by the ball girl. Brewers are hoping Keon Broxton will get into one of his hot streaks. When he gets hot, he is tough to handle. He's been a very streaky hitter through his major league career the last 2 seasons. Oh, he takes a called strike 3. Martinez hits the edge with a slider, and down goes Broxton. 2 outs in the inning. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run, and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportsupports.com. Two outs. Here is Arcia with Manny Pina at first. Buckled his knees in there with a strike on the breaking ball.
Yeah, on the inside corner. That's not normally where you want to leave it, but most times it's going to pull a hitter.
Hit hard right center on the run. Piscotty, he's got it. And the inning is over. Arcia hit it like a bullet, but right at Stephen Piscotty. We're on our way to the 5th inning. Game 1 of this series. Time now to check out tonight's UW Whitewater Athletics scouting report. We're not scouting UW Whitewater Athletics. They're the sponsor for the minor league report. And Keston Hiura continues to be a big story. He sat up in our booth after he was drafted, said, "Oh, hitting's the easy part." And he was right. 2 for 4 last night on the road in Peoria. He's hitting .423 combined between the rookie ball and A ball. This guy can rake.
No kidding. I mean, it's not often a guy says something like that and backs it up.
Only 25 RBIs in 27 games. Thanks to our friends at UW Whitewater Athletics. Say hello to Professor Jason Shirley, my nephew.
What's he teach?
He's a kinesiology professor at
Let me say that again. What's he teach?
Teaches voice training. There's a slider for a strike from Nelson. Gets ahead of Colton Wong. In there. 0-2 the count. Couple of breaking balls. Last time up, Wong with a base hit to right. He was thrown out at the plate later in that inning.
That was a good pitch right there. A couple of breaking pitches on the outside corner. Then he straightens him up with a fastball in off the plate.
Wong's been a tough out this year for the Brewers. And he yanks that one foul, hit it hard. Whatever the game plan is, the Brewers might want to adjust a little bit. He's 16 for 34 now at the plate.
Yeah,
471 batting average.
Yeah, and he's hit the ball hard. Even his outs have been hit hard on a lot of occasions. Yeah, Jimmy tried to get him with a fastball up and in, and he turned on it. First 2 strikes came on breaking balls away. Maybe try that again.
Brewers have a shift on, 3 on the right side of the infield. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Wong back up the middle, backhanded. No, it's through. Base hit. Wong beats the shift this time.
And with a curveball that time, left it down the middle of the plate, and he found a hole in the center field. There's that curveball. You can see he left it upstairs, and Wong stays back nicely on it and shoots it right back into center.
Now, even if Arcia comes up with it, no chance he's going to throw out the speedy Wong at first. So he is 2 for 2. And that gets Randall Grichuk to the plate. Leadoff single for the Cardinals. They have 5 hits right now off Nelson. And the Cardinals bringing the tying run to the plate once again. And a power hitter up there in Grichuk. Big swing and a miss. Gave him that hook.
That's a good pitch to start off a hitter. Grichuk thinking fastball. That's what he hit for a double into left. That was on a 1-2 pitch. That double that he hit, back in the 3rd inning.
Grichuk has 13 homers. It's been up and down this year between the Cardinals and the minors. Grichuk playing in his 72nd game in the big leagues tonight. This is game number 106 for the Cardinals this year. Brewers look to turn 2. Nelson trying to get a ground ball out of this, with the pitcher due up next. There's a good pitch. Fastball strike. Power sinker. Nelson came in 8th in the National League in strikeouts. Has 5 on the board tonight. And a 2-strike pitch coming to Grichuk. Slow roller, third base. Shaw will go to first. And out number 1.
Yeah, good decision. Wong runs pretty well. It would have been close at second. Hey, it's not too late to sign up for the August Ballpark Pass for just $29.99. You'll guarantee your spot at every home game this month, including matchups and weekend showdowns, all the popular giveaways on tap and more. Sign up today at brewers.com/ballpark pass.
Now a runner at second base for Carlos Martinez, the Cardinal pitcher. Nelson made him look bad on a couple of breaking balls in the 3rd inning. See what he has in mind for him. A fastball, chopper over to first. Nice and easy for Thames. 2 outs. Wong ends up at third base. Back to the top of the order now, and Matt Carpenter. Now the Cardinals last inning, very similar scenario with a runner at third and 2 outs, and Yadier Molina delivered with a 2-out base hit that scored a run. Now it's Carpenter up there with 2 away. First pitch, curveball in there for a strike.
And Nelson froze him on a fastball that had plenty of the plate for strike 3. You don't see Carpenter take a pitch like that very often. So what's he do? He starts him off with a breaking ball.
Way inside, almost hit him. The literal back foot slider. Carpenter just got his foot out of the way.
You don't want to leave that pitch down the middle with this guy at the plate. He'll tie it up in a hurry.
He's got 3 doubles in his last 2 games. He's in the top 10 in the National League in doubles this year with 25. He's also 3rd in the NL in walks.
On base percentage .377. He's only hitting .250.
1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. Carpenter had one of his best months of the year in July. Hit .322 in the month. He is a major weapon. One of the best leadoff hitters in the game. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at third. And Nelson misses inside. See how aggressive Nelson wants to be on Matt Carpenter.
Too early in the game to be pitching around guys. Jimmy's had a good slider tonight that he's been able to throw for strikes.
Missed with it that time. Ball 4.
Went with a slider and just didn't do anything.
So Carpenter draws a walk, number 69 of the year. Only Joey Votto and Paul Goldschmidt with more walks than Carpenter. 1st and 3rd with 2 away, and here comes Tommy Pham. Pham had a base hit and scored a run in the 4th. Been able to keep his batting average over 300 this season. In over 300 plate appearances. Looks like a completely different hitter.
And he crowds the plate as well. They're daring you to come inside. Well, you see more and more hitters doing that these days, don't you? Guys on top of the plate. There used to be an era where guys would stand off the plate and move toward the pitcher, their first move toward home plate. He's right on top of it.
First and 3rd, 2 gone. Nelson deals, and that's through. Off the glove of Sogard. Cardinals score another run. It's another 2-out hit. Tommy Pham delivers again. 3-2 Milwaukee now. Still 1st and 3rd with DeJong coming up.
Well, fastball got a little bit too much of the plate, but Pham got jammed on it. Didn't hit it all that hard. Hit it kind of like the way Molina hit his to right field. Fact is, they make contact, they put it in play and make something happen. Right back in it.
Tying run now at 3rd, and Pham representing the go-ahead run. And here is Paul DeJong, the hottest Cardinal hitter of them all, coming up. He's 0 for 2. He had a line out and a ground out. I misspoke on DeJong last time up. Apologize. He was a 4th round draft pick. He was drafted in the 38th round, decided not to sign. The next season, the Cardinals drafted him 4th. Out of Illinois State. That was 15, and here he is in the big leagues in 17. Nelson's got him 0-2. There's a great story about Paul DeJong, written by Derek Gould, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He's got Wisconsin ties, spends a lot of vacation time in Wisconsin, even in the winter. Big time ice fisherman. Really good story. A lot of information in there from Derek Gould about the rookie DeJong.
Hey, love stories like that, right? Low draft choices, making it to the big leagues and making a name for themselves.
There's an interesting note in that article that Derek wrote about DeJong, that there was a thought that he would go to Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin, and go pre-med. He was going to be a doctor. Of course, they don't have a baseball team at Wisconsin. You can imagine the life decision and the life path that would have had on DeJong, who ends up, as I mentioned, as a 4th-round draft pick after he turned down the offer from the Pirates after the 38th round pick the prior year. Here he is in the big leagues. Nelson trying to clean up this inning here. 1-2 the count on DeJong. Missed high, 2-2.
And Jimmy letting his pitch count get away from him a little bit here. It's first time in a while that he's struggled with a pitch count. 93 as he works here in the 5th. Last couple of innings have got him.
Both runs for the Cardinals have scored on 2-out hits. 1st and 3rd, 2 away. 2-2 the count. In the air, right center, Santana is there. And that will retire the side. Nelson bends a little. Doesn't break. 3-2 Brewers as we go to the home 5th. Out to games elsewhere. Cleveland, Boston. Rock, have you ever seen a better catch than that?
Yeah, that's a heck of a catch by Jackson.
Oh my gosh. Austin Jackson. I mean, you talk about the ultimate sacrifice. He was able to hang on with the hand. Caught the ball.
The flip lands on his feet almost. Boy,
incredible.
Some kind of effort. Hanley Ramirez even impressed by that effort.
Yep, that will go on the all-time list of great catches. There's a guy sitting 2 booths down from us that has a number of catches on that list.
Jim Edmonds. Yeah.
The great Jim Edmonds. Doing television these days for the St. Louis Cardinals. There's Jimmy.
Spent some time with the Brewers.
When you have show hair like that, that's the way you wear your headset. Off to the back. You can't mess that up.
No. You and I, doesn't matter how we wear it.
I've rubbed a complete bald spot on the top of my head with these headsets.
Matter of fact,
that's what I tell people.
Headsets make us look better.
And as Rock knows, once he wears a headset, he's the last one to wear that particular headset.
Yep. It's
custom
mine.
sized.
It's mine.
Jim Edmonds was always a fun guy to talk to. I loved his time here in Milwaukee, brief time here in Milwaukee. He had some great years, of course, with the Angels and then the Cardinals. There's a swing and a miss, and Nelson strikes out to start the inning. I always thought Jimmy would be a good television announcer. I can't say I've listened to him much, but we've always had good conversations. He was a Brewer briefly in 2010. And then the Brewers traded him to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, what, half a season, right?
That was a postseason run. Ended up injuring his ankle that year. Who knows, if he doesn't get hurt, Roy Halladay probably never throws a no-hitter. Sogard grounds one to short. Martinez is locked in right now. He's got the first 2 men out here in the 5th.
Yeah, Brewers have not had a hit since the first inning. 2 base runners, both of them walks.
And here comes Eric Thames at the plate, presented by Wendy's.
Sometimes you go out of come out of the bullpen, you don't have that intensity quite yet. You're just trying to feel your way through the game, right? And a lot of times you give up that crooked number in the first inning, it might cost you the game. A lot of guys struggle in the first inning and then they settle down. A lot of the great ones have had that issue. What's the old adage? Get him early, you're not going to get him at all.
He's confident right now, and you can see it in his body language, his pitches. Just threw Thames a 2-0 slider for a strike. Comes back with one and misses. Notice the tempo in which he's pitching, though. Getting it back from Molina, working quickly. 3-1, misses outside, ball 4. Now we'll see if the Brewers disrupt that tempo a little bit. Got a man on with 2 outs, and Braun coming to the plate. Brewers could use some quick offense. Jumping out 3-0 in the first inning. Braun drove in the first run, had a ground out for an RBI. Cardinals have been chipping away, scoring single runs in the last 2 innings. Braun playing in his 53rd game. This is his 4th consecutive game. Brewers did have a team day off yesterday. 12 home runs, 35 RBIs in 52 games. It's good production when he's been in there. Takes a fastball strike. Been a while since Braun homered. Got to go back to July 22nd. That was on the road trip through Philly. Homered off Jeremy Hellickson that game.
And he got robbed of a home run against the Cubs. Hayward took one away.
Slow roller, third base. Tough play, and unable to come up with a jerko. Infield hit for Braun. First and second with 2 outs.
And one of the advantages when your third baseman is playing way behind the bag, slow rollers like that become very difficult. You're charging hard because you're playing deep behind the bag, and making that play a little bit more difficult when you're coming in that fast. Just can't grab it. So the inning alive for Travis Shaw. The Brewers can come up with a big hit again here.
Brewers had 2 2-out RBI hits in the first. Santana and Pina. 2 on, 2 away. Travis Shaw at the plate. Shaw and Eric Thames at the top of the Powerball home run leaderboard with 24 apiece. And Travis opening play today in the top 10 of the National League in homers and RBIs. He's also top 10 in extra base hits. And a .568 slugging percentage has him in the top 10.
Yeah, been terrific. I mean, far and away the most consistent hitter the Brewers have had this season. And has had the ability to come up big in these spots.
Highest OPS on the ball club, 932. At .568 slugging, in addition to a .364 on base percentage.
And he's got the count in his favor here, 2-0. Watch for the changeup. A lot of times this is where Carlos Martinez likes to throw the change.
2-0, 2 on with 2 out. And Shaw, a wave and a miss.
Two-seam fastball, 94.
Shaw's had a pretty quiet homestand. 2 for 14 thus far. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Did hit the ball hard his last time up, but right at the second baseman Wong, who turned it into a double play to end the inning. Count in his favor. Outside, ball 3. Shaw has been the player of the month for the Brewers the last 3 months, May, June, and July. Inside, ball 4. Inning continues with 2 outs and nobody on. The Brewers have a walk, an infield hit, and another walk to load him up.
And Martinez has walked 5 now. Trying to make him pay. None of the walks so far have scored. Check that. Yeah, Sogard scored in the first inning.
Derek Lilliquist on his way out. Martinez confidently says, I got this. And he will face Domingo Santana, who delivered an RBI single in the first inning off of Martinez. Santana's having a great year. Now 58 runs batted in. He's got the bases loaded with 2 outs. Ooh, had a big swing. 98 with a fastball.
Well, you knew that Martinez wanted to get ahead in the count. And Santana thought the same. That was borderline at the knees.
And a defensive swing on a breaking ball by Martinez. 0-2 the count.
Slider this time.
Tight one. 0-2 pitch. Santana lays off. That was close. I thought I saw a little flinch with Chad Whitson, the home plate umpire.
He went up, then he came up a little bit. Thought about it.
Martinez in the windup with the bases loaded. And Yadier Molina wants to have a chat.
I think he got shook off. He said, don't be shaking me off.
You see this gold patch on my glove?
Yeah, that means I know more than you.
Probably exactly right. Wonder if he'll shake off this time. Bases loaded, full of Brewers. Martinez ready to deal. And a fastball missed. Molina thought he struck out. I don't know if he thought the pitch was a strike or the It was a swing from Santana. It was close.
100 miles an hour. Wow. Well, there's a gift right there, Domingo. Take advantage of it.
Matheny hawking the home plate umpire. 2-2. Outside, ball 3. Full count, runners will go. Santana on the ground, gloved by Jerko. Side retired. Martinez a little stare in at the home plate umpire. Molina has a few words as well. Brewers fail to score. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. It's a beautiful night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Marcus Center. That's one of the great stops if you're into the theater. Great concerts there as well. Downtown Milwaukee. And the Brewers and the Cardinals opening up a 3-game series just a few miles away here at Miller Park. Jimmy Nelson back to work. Jet Jerko leads off. Brewers lead 3-2. Jumped out 3-0 with 3 in the first. And then the Cardinals have scored solo runs in each of the last 2 innings. 2-out RBI hits from Yadier Molina and Tommy Pham have the Cardinals on the board. Cubs are up big early on the Diamondbacks at Wrigley. 8-1 is the score at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, back to scoring a lot of runs. That really speaks well for the Brewers pitching staff, doesn't it? Low scoring games in Milwaukee over the weekend.
A pop up. Thames will call it. And there is out number 1.
Hey, join the crew for the official tapping of the Bearded Brewer IPA on Thursday, August 10th. This special ticket package includes a 12-ounce sample of this limited run craft beer as well as a commemorative pint glass. For tickets and details, visit brewers.com/theme nights. The Bearded Brewer IPA, courtesy of Eric Thames.
Got to give Corey Knebel and Oliver Drake a little mention too. They were part of it. They're just not as maybe memorable as or catchy as the Bearded Brew.
It's not named after them. Bearded.
It might take Corey Knebel 6 months to grow a beard. Just a little facial hair. Yeah, they went out and made their own brew, and Be curious to see how it goes.
I was asked if you and I wanted to do that. I mean, he wouldn't make a big deal about it like theirs. There's Corey. He's got a little facial hair there.
That's 6 months of growth right there.
Yeah, see it on the side.
Put a little nitrogen on there, it'll come right out. All-star closer.
So
I'd be up for that.
Would you do it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really know what exactly to put in it, but you know, I'm sure we get some direction. I feel like you're
I could help you.
pretty knowledgeable.
I think I could help you.
The balance of hops and
I've made my way amongst the beer world.
Molina takes a ball. 3-1 to count on the Cardinal catcher.
I think I'd do more of a lager type. I'm not a big IPA guy.
Is that right?
Like they are apparently. A little bitter for me. Maybe a Pilsner.
I can tell you've been thinking about this a little bit. I feel like I might be a hindrance to you in the beer making process.
Should I pick somebody else?
Maybe you should. I think Craig KEON would be a good.
He would.
He'd be a good guy. He'd be a good guy to help
So you're
out.
bailing out. Okay.
I've done my part at the Miller Brewery.
That's right. You voiced over the tour, right?
That's right. Back into the stands. 3-2 to count on Molina. I get asked that question a lot. Are you the voice of the Miller Brewing Company tour, the Miller Coors tour? And I am, but I don't really sound like myself because my own voice was frowned upon recording. So I talk a lot like this.
Like Frederick Miller
Lower,
perhaps would.
softer.
Right?
There's a called strike 3. Molina is rung up. Jimmy Nelson 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th inning. Picks up yet another strikeout.
Got him on the breaking ball. A slider this time, and really didn't do much, did it? I think Molina saw the spin on it, expected it to break away, ended up right on the inside corner.
6th strikeout for Nelson. Here's Piscotty now. Big swing. Piscotty is 0 for 2. He has twice made the final out of the inning. And a strange ground ball out his last time up. He had a little jam shot. Looked like it was rolling foul. Actually landed in foul territory, and then with an awkward spin took a left turn right to the bag at first. Easy for Thames for the final out. It's one of those ground ball outs that you hit and you say, that's the kind of year it's been right there. And the Brewers are hoping to keep it that way at least for the next 3 days.
Yeah, been a rough season for Piscotty in the Cardinal offense, but they're still in the hunt. I mean, they're still within striking distance. 2 games under 500. Or actually 1 game under 500.
4.5 back. Got him. Nelson with a strikeout. Might be his last hitter. We'll see. The pitch count is high, but Jimmy Nelson strikes out his 7th. Inning is over. 3-2 Brewers. Ball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Got some news around the big leagues. Dustin Pedroia is going on the DL. He's got a left knee problem. CC Sabathia, how about this? Second pitcher to make 500 starts without a relief appearance. The Yankees are going with a 6-man rotation now that they have traded for Sonny Gray. John Axford, former Brewer, was released by the A's today. Having a tough year. Pitched for the Brewers. Traded from the Brewers to the Cardinals, as a matter of fact. Sabathia did make a relief appearance. Game 5 of the 2011 ALDS. With an inning and a third, allowed a run. Be interesting to watch. The New York Yankees made a big splash getting Sonny Gray yesterday. John Brebbia, Rock, will be first out of the bullpen for Mike Matheny's Cardinals.
Yeah, pretty good numbers for him. Hard thrower, good slider, 23rd appearance. 142 earned run average. And his last appearance came on the 29th against Arizona. A scoreless inning. That included a strikeout.
If you're just joining us, speaking of the trade deadline, the Brewers were able to acquire Jeremy Jeffress. Kind of an under the radar deal. But the Brewers are hoping to get Jeffress right. They feel like they've got a good handle on what Jeremy is as a player, as a person, and he was having a rough year with the Texas Rangers. Hoping they can catch something with him. There's a fly ball in the shallow left. Grichuk is there for out number 1.
Yeah, Jeremy has done some of his best work as a Brewer. He got traded at the deadline last year, had 27 saves at the trading deadline. Brewers give up a guy down in Double-A. He was having a pretty good season, 42 games. Taylor Scott,
player the Brewers signed out of the Independent League a few years back. Jacob Barnes getting ready for the 7th inning. It's going to be the end of the line for Jimmy Nelson. And so the Brewers make a deal for Anthony Swarzak from the White Sox last week. And at the trade deadline get Jeffress. So they couldn't come up with a deal to get a starting pitcher, or didn't want to part ways with what the asking price was. And so they do the next best thing and try to bolster the bullpen. We'll see if it pays off. Dodgers and the Yankees made the big splash yesterday. Dodgers acquiring Yu Darvish from Texas. Yankees get Sonny Gray. And then there's always that discussion about paying the price with prospects. Some of the deals around baseball.
I'm surprised that Brandon Kinsler got traded away from the Twins. The Nationals get him. Nationals had some bullpen issues. They picked up 3 guys. I mean, 3 pretty good pitchers out of their bullpen.
Yeah, Doolittle and Madsen coming from the A's last week. Kinsler was an all-star this year, the former Brewer.
Twins trading away Jaime Garcia. Didn't have him long.
A couple days.
And then Brandon Kinsler. So what does that say about the prospects for the Twins? Twins in 3rd place in the Central.
Making a decision if you think you can win a round in the playoffs. Broxton leans down on one, hits it hard to left field, and it's caught by Grichuk. Took a hit away from Keon Broxton.
Well, the young man has incredible power. You know, the leverage that he has. I mean, he was out in front, but he was able to keep the hands back and still give that one a pretty good ride to left. Check it out. I mean, he had one hand swing right there, almost hit it off the wall.
Just not expecting a ball to go that far with a swing like that.
Right.
Grichuk took an odd route, but at the last moment reached up to make that play.
And fool him, as you would figure, the way he swung at that pitch.
2 outs in the inning for Brebbia. Arcia takes a ball. Carlos Martinez went 5 innings, 3 runs all earned, all in the first inning. Walked 5, struck out 7.
Only gave up 1 hit after the first inning.
Only hit he allowed was that infield hit by Braun in the 5th. But a high pitch count. 2-2 to Arcia. And a swing and a miss, but it gets by Molina. That's going to extend the inning. Don't see that very often from Yadier Molina. And a strikeout, but Arcia will reach.
Kind of a defensive swing at the very least. I mean, that's going to be a pass ball. Look at the swing by Arcia. Almost like he knew that Molina was going to drop it. I mean, that's got to be a pass ball by Yadier Molina. Wasn't that bad pitch.
Well, that means the pitcher spot is coming up, and Craig Counsell is going to go to the bench. Lewis Brinson will pinch hit for Jimmy Nelson.
And Brewers have just about all their left-handed bats in the lineup. Only Jonathan Villar, the switch hitter, on the bench. All the other guys on the bench are right-handed hitters. Brinson gets the first shot.
Breaking ball strike to start the count. Brinson has spent most of the year in AAA. He's had a couple of tours here in the big leagues. Only 53 plate appearances in the majors this year. Has a couple of home runs, both coming on the last road trip. His first 2 big league homers in Washington, D.C. in consecutive games. Shot. Oh, what a play by Carpenter. Slaps the bag on his way by, and Brinson is out. That might have had a chance to score a run. Carpenter snags it on the line, though, and Brinson is retired to end the inning. Heck of a play by the Cardinal first baseman. His impressive run emerging as the Brewers ace minus Chase Anderson, and tonight Rocky goes 6 innings, only 2 runs, strikes out 7. He's inside the top 10 in the league in Ks, and he is the epitome of a pitcher who is keeping his team in the game each and every time out.
And no kidding, four runs or fewer in consecutive starts. You can see where he ranks 17 of them so far this year. Yet another quality start. 2 runs, 6 innings, and once again, you know, only 1 walk. I mean, Jimmy Nelson, that's the big difference between Jimmy now and the last couple of years. He's been throwing a lot of strikes, and quality strikes at that.
Now the Brewers have a lead to the late game, and now Jacob Barnes is in, and Colton Wong on the first pitch fouls it away. These are important innings down the stretch here, specifically for Jacob Barnes, who's been rattled a little bit with his plus stuff on the mound. He's left a couple of sliders in the middle of the plate though recently, and you'd like to see him get back on track.
Maybe giving up some runs as of late, but you figure that's going to come to an end at some point. Last pitch on Sunday gave up a run in an inning of work. It was a home run ball that he allowed. That was against the Cubs here at Miller Park.
Hard throwing Jacob Barnes facing Colton Wong, who's 2 for 2 tonight. Scored a run his last time up. Bouncing ball right to Arcia. Nice easy hop for him. Out number 1. Time now for our car soup scoop from the clubhouse. And Craig Counsell's had to make some decisions with his starting rotation. He did get some good news with Matt Garza set to return from the disabled list. Brent Suter is going to be on the mound tomorrow. By the way, Adam Wainwright was scheduled to start tomorrow. He has a bit of a back problem right now, so he's going to throw a pen session tomorrow. And it'll be Luke Weaver instead. So Brewers will utilize the off day yesterday. Keep him in turn, and Garza to return for the finale Thursday.
Yeah, Brent Suter's been outstanding, hasn't he?
He has been a joy to watch.
What a surprise he's been.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? Weaver and Suter tomorrow. We're on the air at 6:30 tomorrow night. Brewers live pregame. First pitch just after 7. Game 2 of the series. Swing and a miss by Grichuk. 98 with the fastball.
Yeah, Brent Suter 7 scoreless innings against the Cubs his last time out. That was on Friday.
That was the lone win of that series. Suter's best game as a big leaguer. A called strike 3. Grichuk with an about face. Jacob Barnes with a punch out. 2 gone in the inning.
Yeah, right on the corner at 98. He got a little bit off the plate. So Chad Whitson a little too close to take, but rings him up. Manny Pina barely had to move the glove.
2 outs. Here's a pinch hitter, Greg Garcia, in the pitcher spot. Brebbia, who works a scoreless inning with a strikeout. Looking ahead to the Brewers' 7th inning, it'll be the top of the order coming up. Sogard, Thames, and Braun. Brewers lead by 1. All 3 of those runs for Milwaukee came in the first inning. There's a strike. 1-1. One and 2 now. Nasty breaking ball by Barnes.
Yeah, that's the key to his success, getting that cut fastball down and in. Sometimes it just spins up there when he overthrows it.
Garcia down, a ball and 2 strikes, and a fastball missed. Pena tried to make it look good, didn't he?
Garcia shaking his head. Nope, that wasn't a strike.
Two now.
Oh, and he's got that pitch working. That's what makes him so tough to hit. You know, that upper 90s fastball and that good cutter going in on the hands of these left-handed batters.
Barnes trying to put the Cardinals down 1-2-3 in the 7th. And a fastball lined into left field. Braun is right there. Cardinals do go in order. Barnes with a punch out. 3-2 Milwaukee. Stretch time at Miller Park. Brewers lead by a run. Brew Crew. Brewers are coming to bat. And that's our Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game. This cutoff and relay executed to perfection as the Cardinals were trying to score a run. Braun to Arcia to Pina. Colton Wong, the speedy base runner, cut down at the plate.
And see the stutter step by Orlando Arcia when he's getting ready to take that throw from Braun. He was getting himself in position to throw a perfect strike and a terrific play by Pina. Everybody has to do everything right for a play like that to work, and it all started with Braun.
Cardinals are going to make a move in their bullpen. Tyler Lyons is on the pitch. John Brebbia went a scoreless 6th inning. And the lefty Lyons, in his 28th appearance, will force Craig Counsell to make a move here. Sogard is out. Jonathan Villar, the switch hitter, will bat. And Villar on the first pitch, a high fly ball to right. Easy enough for Piscotty. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, last 8 appearances for Tyler Lyons have been scoreless. He's only allowed 1 hit in his last 6 appearances. Last time out for Lyons. Back on the 30th, 2/3 scoreless. Cardinals right now have 4 left-handers out in their bullpen. You got Cecil, Zach Duke, Kevin Segras, and Lyons, and 4 right-handers.
Here's Eric Thames now. Brewers have scored 3 runs tonight, but only 4 hits. You take the offense when you can get it, but this is a struggling offense right now, and it has been that way for an extended period of time.
Well, really since the beginning of the second half, right after the All-Star break.
Brewers have had a couple of big outbursts. One of those games with Zach Davies on the mound on the road in Philly, but that skews the numbers overall a little bit. Brewers know they are in a funk as a team. I beg your pardon, in Washington was the high scoring game with Davies on the mound.
Yeah, it was 8-0 win for the Brewers that night. Had a big game offensively in Philly, 9-8 victory.
Hitting coach Darnell Coles trying to stay the course, remind these guys that they are good hitters, good players, which is important to do. This is a game of failure baseball, and when you have a lot of players that are all, for the most part, struggling at the same time, it can look pretty bad offensively.
And you know, that was something that we thought wouldn't happen too much with this team because so many guys were participating and being productive. Somebody different every night. You know, you rely on 3 or 4 guys all year, you can fall into that trap. We didn't think that would happen with this team because everybody was really doing a good job getting on base, getting runs.
Like that at bat by Thames against a left-handed pitcher. He draws a walk, and that's going to get Ryan Braun to the plate here. This is where Counsell really likes the makeup of his lineup. He likes Thames and Shaw against left-handed pitching. Feels comfortable with those two against lefties, and it puts Braun right between these 2 lefties, and most managers are going to let their left-hander stay in the game against Ryan Braun to face Shaw, who would be next. Sometimes you work around Braun, that creates base runners, and Braun on the first pitch fouls it away.
It kind of surprises you with Mike Matheny with so many left-handers in his pen. Got 4 and 4, 4 lefties, 4 right-handers. You figured he'd go 1-1-1 here. That's usually what the Cardinals like to do, matchups.
That looked like a hat off the head and a squeeze of the forehead, like, I hope this works out.
Maybe I should have brought the right-hander in.
Well, Braun has always been great against left-handed pitching, so it has created a lot more opportunities for Braun against lefties. This year his batting average at .292, just shy of 40 points better. We'll see if it pays off. I mean, you can think along with Matheny. That's sound strategy because you're counting on the victory against the left-handed hitters. of course you'd rather have VR hitting right-handed, and you're counting on Lyons getting Thames. So in your perfect world, it's 2 outs and Braun at the plate. You can be careful with him, with Shaw due up next. Little different story with 1 away. And you saw those career numbers for Braun against lefties.
Pretty good breaking pitch right there. Lyons working Braun inside.
0-2 the count.
Yep, only 2 of the 12 home runs that Ryan's hit this year have come against lefties.
Brewers lead by a run. 0-2. This is high. Molina wants a breaking ball again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Missed down and in this time. 2-2 to Braun. You walk in the tight wire as a pitcher, you miss with breaking balls to Ryan Braun. He's ahead in the count 0-2. Now Braun's got it even 2-2.
You leave one up out over the plate, he will knock one out of here to right field.
Thames at first. And Braun strikes out. Fastball got by him. Not a typical Ryan Braun at bat right there.
Well, the first pitch was a fastball. The last pitch a fastball, and everything in between sliders and breaking pitches. Those breaking balls slow the bat down, and Lyons able to get the fastball by him.
See that look on Braun's face, almost shocked that that one was by him. He normally peppers those in the right center. So 2 outs. Here's Travis Shaw now in another lefty-lefty matchup. Shaw 0 for 2 with a walk. Walked his last time up against Martinez. Brewers stranded, the bases loaded in that inning. That was the 5th inning. Cardinals have actually out-hit Milwaukee tonight, 6-4. Brewers had 3 of those 4 hits in the first inning, and it produced 3 runs. Not much sense. There goes Thames. Swing and a miss. Molina's throw. Thames is out. Close play at second base. Molina cuts down Eric Thames to end the inning. Brewers are going to take a quick peek at this just to make sure.
Yeah, pretty good throw by Molina, right on the money. Tough guy to run on.
Tag hand on the base. Looks like that's going to stand.
Pretty close.
And no challenge coming. So the 7th is over. Molina guns down Eric Thames to end the inning. 3-2 Brewers. We go to the 8th. And promoting sun safety this spring and summer through the Play Sun Smart initiative. Brewers are encouraging fans to regularly schedule skin cancer screenings as well as practice sun safe behaviors throughout the season. Sun has set on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee. Beautiful night for baseball. Jonathan Villar stays in the game after a pinch hit appearance. He'll play second base. And interesting, Craig Counsell rolling out Josh Hader for the 8th inning in a 1-run game.
And it's probably 1 and out. You got Carpenter up and then some right-handers. Hader last pitched on Saturday against the Cubs. 3 scoreless innings that included 6 strikeouts.
Matt Carpenter leads the way. Top of the Cardinal order. There is activity in the Brewer bullpen. Brewers acquired Jeremy Jeffress from the Rangers yesterday. He will be here tomorrow. Actually, he's here now, but he'll be active tomorrow. He has made it to Miller Park. He and his luggage. Carpenter fouls it away. 2-1 to count. Carpenter is a .203 hitter against left-handed pitching. And Hader has given up hardly anything against any hitter, especially left-handed hitters.
Yeah, left-handers, right-handers. He's been that good so far.
Back to the well goes Counsell. 2-1 up and in. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, the advantage that a guy like Hader has against Carpenter kind of is minimized when he gets behind an account. He was down an account 2-0, now 3-1.
Shift is on for Carpenter. Fastball missed. Walked him. He didn't miss by much, but he misses nonetheless. Counsell on his way out, and he will play matchup once again. Anthony Swarzak will be next. The Brewers setup man will come into this game with the tying run on. Pitching change for Craig Counsell. Will set up Swarzak when we continue.
And tonight's time of the game winner, Max Barr and Stevens Point. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Craig Counsell rolling through relievers here in the 8th inning. Started with Hader against Carpenter. Now he goes with a setup man, Anthony Swarzak, who will enter this game with a runner at first. Tommy Pham coming up.
And Swarzak looked good on Saturday against the Cubs. A 3-up, 3-down 8th inning with a couple of punch outs. You see right-handers at a .235 batting average, only 3 home runs. Got a number of right-handers coming up.
Pham, DeJong, and Jerko, next 3 hitters. Swarzak deals a breaking ball for a strike. Gets ahead in the count.
Swarzak really had a good slider his last time out against Chicago. Had good bite to it, throwing hard, mid-90s.
Pham's been a hot hitter. He's just been a good hitter all year. Probably time to start calling him hot. He has proven to be a high average hitter in the big leagues. 2 hits tonight. Got a really quick bat.
That's a pretty good power for a guy his size. I mean, he's got good speed. He's got a very quick bat.
14 home runs this year. OPS over 900. Gets on base. Swarzak trying to get a ground ball out of him. He's tough to double up. He'd have to hit it hard at someone.
Well, this is Swarzak's inning. No activity in the Brewers bullpen. This is Craig Counsell's 8th inning guy.
Pham's bounced into 11 double plays this year. 2-2 the count. And he got him. Struck him out with a fastball right by him.
Outer half of the plate and swings right through it.
Threat of that slider changes everything for Swarzak.
Fastball, plenty of the plate, about belt high, and Tommy Pham probably can't believe he didn't make contact.
1 away. Tying run at first. And Paul DeJong at the plate. DeJong tonight is 0 for 3, coming off a monster July. 298 average, hit 8 homers, 16 RBIs. Set a franchise record for home runs in July for a Cardinal rookie. His RBI numbers are in the middle of a group of names that include Albert Pujols and Pepper Martin of the Gas House Gang Cardinals. That's some significant company to be a part of as far as rookie records for production in July.
Well, it's a new month. See what he does in August.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count.
Another good slider for Swarzak. Late breaker, sweeping slider.
Swarzak has reinvented himself as a reliever. He's having the best year of his career. Outstanding numbers with the White Sox. Brewers made the deal to get him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he got him. Surprised him with a fastball. Swarzak rings him up. Back-to-back Ks and now 2 outs in the 8th.
Is setting him up with a slider and getting them both. Pham now DeJong with the fastball. This one pretty close to being right down the middle. DeJong caught guessing with 2 strikes.
After a leadoff walk issued by Hader, Swarzak has come on to retire the first 2 batters faced. And now 2 outs for Jed Jerko, who is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts on his line tonight. And a big swing and a miss. He chased one. 95 fastball upstairs. In there, another strike. I think he might have caught Jerko taking a guess.
You think a fastball down the middle? Now the slider out of the strike zone in the dirt.
Let's see what he has in mind. 0-2 the count. And he got him. Slider in the dirt. Perfectly placed. 3 strikeouts for Swarzak. Setting up beautifully at this point for the Brewers. Fastball, strikeout to Pham. Another heater to DeJong. The slide piece gets Jerko, and we're headed for the bottom of the 8th.
Brewers clinging to a 3-2 lead. We're getting set for our Brewers Live post-game report presented by Ascension. Again, the pitchers, you got to tip your cap to them so far.
It certainly do. I mean, another quality start by Jimmy Nelson, and the bullpen has been outstanding so far. So, yeah, it's all been about pitching. Let's see if the Brewers can tack on a run or two right now.
All right, we're going to hear from Craig Counsell and the crew coming up in just a bit after the ball game. Brewers Live presented by Ascension, BA.
All right, thanks, Craig. Nothing spikes the levels for Davey Nelson like the tack-on runs, does it?
I like the way he gets excited like that.
Travis Shaw leads off. He was, as Lyons throws one over his head, he was at the plate when Thames was thrown out, trying to steal second. Might be one batter for Lyons. Hit the bull. Always important to get the bat down, kids. Get the bat down when you're ducking like that.
If you can think like that, if you think that fast.
Or you could just stand there and take it like a man and get a man on. I mean, that's the other option. That's Buttermaker's option. 2-1 pitch. 2-2 now. Cubs are out in front of the Diamondbacks. Chicago got a home run from John Lester tonight, his first career homer. 8-3 is the score. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning in Wrigley. A called strike 3, and Shaw is rung up. And Matheny's on his way out. Lyons takes care of the lefty Shaw to start the inning, and now a pitching change for the Cardinal skipper. Got a stretch of right-handers coming up for the Brewers. So Lyons on his way out. Able to go an inning and third scoreless here tonight. We'll set up the new pitcher after this. Television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. With producer Dan Keener, director Renardo Lowe, Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, and Jerry Augustine with you as we play in the 8th inning. Brewers clinging to a 1-run lead. And a pitching change for Santana. Right-hander Matt Bowman is on to work.
Yeah, pretty good numbers for Bowman. He works a lot. 54th appearance of the season, a 374 earned run average. He's a slider specialist. He has a good one. Last appeared a couple of days ago. Only a third of an inning for Bowman.
Santana, then Pina will bat, and strike one to Domingo. Brewers got 3 in the first. Cardinals scored a 2-out run in the 4th. RBI by Molina. 2-out RBI in the 5th by Pham. 3-2 Crew here in the 8th. In the Cardinal 9th, Molina will lead off. Be Molina, Piscotty, and Wong. 5, 6, and 7 in their batting order. And the all-star closer Corey Knebel is in the bullpen getting ready. Brewers would love to give him a little breathing room for the 9th inning. There's Knebel. Can 3 first-inning runs hold up tonight? Pitching has been excellent for the Crew. Santana pulls one foul.
It's kind of been the story, hasn't it? Second half, there's been a couple of games where the bullpen has given up some runs, but for the most part, the starting rotation has been terrific.
Yeah, you can't really look at the ERA post All-Star break and gauge the success of the Brewers pitching staff, because that blow-up game in Washington did just that to the overall earned run average.
15 runs. Yeah.
Two and 2 to Santana. Brewers started play today 2.5 back of the Cubs in the division. 5.5 games back in the wild card race to the Rockies. Two-two pitch. Down he goes. A strikeout for out number 2.
Bowman doesn't mess around too much. That looks like a cutter right there off the outside corner. Santana swings right through it. So two-seamer, cutter, slider. And for Matt Bowman.
And that'll bring up Manny Pina now. Drove in a run with a double in the first inning. The Brewers have just 1 hit since Pina's double in the first. Braun had an infield single in the 5th inning. That's been it. There's been some walks in there, but it has been quiet for the Brewers offensively since Pina drove in a run with 2 outs in the first. 2 gone. Bottom of the 8th. Inside again, misses. 2-0.
Thing is, when your team is struggling to score runs, and everybody up and down the batting order is having a difficult time, everybody tries to do too much, and that's natural. Got to take a deep breath, everybody in the batting order. These guys can hit, and they know it.
Bowman set for a 2-1. On the ground in the hole. Glove that short by DeJong. Can't come up with it. Infield hit for Manny Pina. His 2nd hit of the game and his 3rd time on base.
Yep, got a two-seamer down and in, and would have been interesting had DeJong kept that ball in his glove. On a transfer, he dropped it. This guy's got a pretty good arm. Just couldn't hold on to it.
Now, due to some lack of shortstop depth in the organization, DeJong was moved to shortstop. You don't see many guys get moved from other positions to short. It's usually the other way around. Gives KEON BROXTON a shot here in this 8th inning. BROXTON, while he's had his struggles in the big leagues this year and some long 0-for streaks, he's also set a career high in homers this season, 14 of them. He gives you a lot of pop at the plate. He plays great defense.
As long as he keeps that ball down in the strike zone and lays off that high fastball, he seems to be okay. And high fastball is a difficult pitch for KEON to lay off of.
1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2 now on BROXTON. BROXTON robbed of an extra base hit back in the 6th inning. Grichuk made a terrific catch, leaping catch at the warning track on a ball that was over his head. KEON is 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats. First game back from AAA. Spent a couple of weeks down there. He was sent out during the last road trip after a game in Pittsburgh. He had been 0 for 12 at the plate in the big leagues. Looking for a quick strike here in the 8th inning. 2-2 the count. 3-2 now.
Let's see if he makes a mistake with a fastball here. Gets one up a little bit. Give it a ride. Not great speed at first.
Full count. Pina will get a head start. There he goes, and it's ball 4. KEON BROXTON draws a walk. And now the Brewers have something cooking with 2 outs. Orlando Arcia will step in. Good guy to have at the plate in a situation like this.
Yeah, look out first pitch here. He likes to attack early. Yeah, Bowman just walking BROXTON. You figure he's going to want to throw a strike here. Arcia likes that first pitch.
You know, the game plan against BROXTON, that he'd get himself out, you nibble around the edges. KEON took a couple of breaking balls, and then Bowman lost him. 2 on, 2 out. Arcia at the plate. On the ground, broke his bat, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers come up empty. They strand 2. Corey Knebel has 1 run to play with. 3-2. Brewers lead. We head to the 9th. Some of the images tonight, courtesy of Lisa Rodriguez in our tape room. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, courtesy of Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Over 30,000 on hand tonight on a Tuesday night, and the Brewers trying to seal up a Game 1 win against their rival, the St. Louis Cardinals. 3-2 is the score. Corey Knebel, the closer, is on to work.
Yep, 18 out of 23, a 168 earned run average. Look at the strikeout totals for Knebel. Knebel is at almost 16 strikeouts per 9 innings. Outstanding work. Last pitched on Saturday against the Cubs.
Facing Yadier Molina, and a line drive into right field. Santana makes the catch. That was a hot one off the bat of Molina. One pitch, one out for Knebel.
Yeah, hang with him right there. Hit it hard. Santana positioned perfectly, shading toward the line a bit.
That ball left the bat at 104 miles an hour. But an atom ball, as they say. Hit it right at him, and one gone for Stephen Piscotty. Knebel notched a save on Friday against the Cubs. He was impressive and really didn't have his breaking ball in that game. It was just power fastball located. That's a good curveball right there. Piscotty fouls it away.
Seems like the more he pitches, the better he gets. I mean, he loses the curveball when he's had a long layoff, 4 or 5 days.
It had been 8 days between outings in that outing against the Cubs on Friday. Able to muscle through it. 0-1 pitch. Piscotty takes low. That's the workload over the last 7 days. He pitched in the extra inning game Saturday. Brewers lost that game in 11. Knebel had a scoreless inning. He pitched in the 9th. Piscotty gets jammed. Fly ball, shallow left. Braun coming in. And Arcia and Braun come together. The ball is dropped. I don't know why Arcia felt like he needed to make that play. It looked like Braun had it all the way. Arcia was way out there in left field.
I mean, that was Ryan Braun's play all the way. I'm not sure if anybody called it. I don't know if Braun called it or not, but this is definitely a left fielder's ball. Good thing Piscotty, he wasn't running all that hard. Actually, Arcia was calling off Braun. He never stopped. There's no way that's a shortstop's play. That's a left fielder's play.
Even though he called, there's no way Braun is going to sense that. He had a play on it. So a mistake. It goes as a hit. And Knebel's got to go to work now with the go-ahead run at the plate, tying run at first. And a hot hitter at the plate, Colton Wong. Tough guy to double up. He's one of the fastest Cardinals. Wong with 2 hits. He was thrown out at the plate in the 3rd inning. Big play in this game. Singleton scored in the 5th. Curveball, strike.
Hey, he's got it tonight. He's thrown 2 of them, both of them for strikes.
Such a dangerous pitch.
Makes everything better. I mean, curveball for strikes, fastball becomes better. Doesn't become predictable.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Never mind. He steps off. Looks Piscotty back. It works like a change of pace pitch for Knebel. It is 17, 18 miles an hour slower than his fastball. The 1-2. 98 with a heater. Misses high. Fastball at 98, topping out, curveball at 80. And he can throw that curveball in the 83 mile an hour range as well when he brings it. Fastball, strike, got him. 99.
Gets him again. Well, these Cardinals have been guessing a lot late in the game.
Backwards K for the second out. And Knebel is an out away from securing game one.
Looking curveball. Fastball. Plenty of the plate.
Randall Grichuk. Cardinals' last hope. And a line shot right at Shaw. Ball game over. Knebel with the save, and the Brewers win 3-2. Number 19 for Corey Knebel. And 3 first-inning runs holds up for Milwaukee. Another beautifully pitched game tonight. Jimmy Nelson, and then the bullpen did the rest.
Pitching has been terrific ever since the second half began, and Jimmy Nelson picks up another win, his first against the Cardinals. That's got to feel good for him.
Had been 0-8. He's now 9-5 for the year. Brewers win the opener. Now it's time for Brewers Live. We check in with Craig Kashawn. He's with Davey Nelson tonight. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, BA, thanks a lot. Good way to start this series out for Milwaukee. We'll catch up on Jimmy Nelson's night, also what the bullpen was able to do in that big first inning, and also tremendous play in the third. We'll take it all in next on Brewers Live.